All right, let's make another plane. We want to make a torsional spring now. So I have my plane here. I'm going to move my cursor to there. I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. I'm going to go into edit mode by pressing tab, press M, collapse to the center, move my one remaining vertice along the X a little bit, and then we're going to give it a modifier, screw modifier. I'm going to make this one just a little bit tighter, something like that. And then we want to go into object mode, and we want to convert it to a curve, like that. And we can go into edit mode, and we actually want to drag this out, these ends. So I'm going to say GY 1.5, or let's do GY1. And this bottom one will do GY-1. Okay. So we have it as a curve. So we want to go to this curve menu, and we want to give it a bevel. Kind of want it to look like that. We'll fill in the caps, and there's our torsional spring. But let's convert it to a mesh, and let's go into edit mode again, select everything, and we're just going to center it about the y-axis, kind of like that. Okay, so there's our torsional spring. Next, we want to make a motor. So we're going to kind of try and model motor. So I'm going to do GY. I'm going to rotate it. Actually, so a motor, actually, we never forgot to name this and everything. So let's name this. So hashtag torsional spring, or torsion spring. Let's just call it torsion spring. Okay. And we want to make it a rigid body constraint. And it's going to be a generic spring also. And we want it to have a Z-angle stiffness, and that's it. All right, so if you remember with motors, that they work along the x-axis, which is this way. So we actually want to go into edit mode and rotate this. So R, Y, 90. And now the rotation, or the axial direction of this cylinder is aligned with the x-axis, which is what we want. So again, if you want to check that, you can go into this local mode here and say GX, and now it's moving along the X. So that's your X-axis for the object. All right, I'm going to scale this down quite a bit. I'm going to scale it along the X. Then I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to unselect everything, and then come to inset faces. I'm going to hold down Alt and select this entire ring here, and then inset that, then press EX and extrude it out a little bit. Then I'm going to inset this face down about right there, and EX and extrude that out to about right there. So there's our motor. Hopefully that looks like a motor to you. And let's call it hashtag motor. Okay. And what else do we have to do? A brake. All right. So I'm going to do Shift A, or let me just move my cursor here. Shift S, cursor to selected. And do Shift A. We'll make another cylinder. I'm going to G and Y, move it over here. I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to rotate it about the Y. We want the x-axis to align with the axial axis of the cylinder. And I'm going to scale it down a little bit, and then I'm going to scale it quite a bit along the x-axis so it looks like a brake rotor. Okay. And then let me just come over here. I'm going to do Shift S, cursor to selected. Oops. Shift S, cursor to selected. Okay. And let's add, in edit mode, let's add a cube. This is going to be our brake caliper. Again, this is just supposed to look like a brake. it's not going to function like one or anything. And it's not going to be seen when doing animations. So I'm going to do 2 loop cuts. And I'm going to select these 2 and just bring them out a little bit. Okay. I'm going to press L, or I'm going to select one of these, press L. I'm going to scale a little bit along the Y. So it kind of looks like that, and then move it along the Y. So it's more like that. Right? I think that looks pretty well like a brake rotor, at least as far as we want to do. So this is going to be our hashtag brake. And let's set it up as a constraint. We didn't set up our motor, so I'll do that next. So it's going to be, the brake is going to be a motor also. It's going to be angular. Oops. The target velocity is going to be 0 because it's going to try and slow it down. And the max impulse is going to be something we set later. And let's set up our motor constraint. Motor. And it's going to be angular, and we're just going to set this up later.